The insane are but mere guests on this earth, eternal strangers carrying around broken decalogues that they themselves cannot read. F. Scott Fitzgerald. Around the turn of the 20th century, the tuberculosis epidemic spurred an influx of hospitals in mountainous regions throughout the country. It was thought that the clean mountain air would be therapeutic for tuberculosis sufferers. Among the new hospitals built was Highland Hospital in Asheville, North Carolina, founded by renowned psychiatrist Dr. Robert S. Carroll. The clinics at the hospital housed not only tuberculosis patients, but also served as a very exclusive, upscale psychiatric ward for rich and famous patients. Though praised for his treatments using diet and exercise as therapy, Dr. Carroll also received considerable criticism for his other methods. Electroconvulsive therapy, or shock therapy, insulin shock treatment, which involved inducing the patient into a coma by injecting them with large amounts of insulin. This method often resulted in painful seizures and has since been deemed cruel and inhumane. Dr. Carroll was also criticized for hiring his former mental patients who he deemed cured, a practice that would one day lead to tragedy. On the night of March 10, 1948, Highland Hospital burned to the ground. Hospital employee and former psychiatric patient Willie Mae Hall systematically sedated and locked away 9 women on the top floor of the women's psychiatric wing. She then set fire to the kitchen using rags soaked in kerosene. The fire spread quickly up the elevator shaft, and soon the entire hospital was ablaze. Hundreds of neighbors and townspeople looked on in horror as the screams from the women locked inside could be heard from the street. Escape was impossible as bars covered the patients' windows and the fire escape was made of wood. The phone lines had been cut and the fire department was not called for nearly a half hour. By the time they arrived, it was too late. The 9 women trapped on the 3rd floor had perished. Among the victims was 1920s pop culture icon Zelda Fitzgerald, wife of the great Gatsby author F. Scott Fitzgerald. Zelda had been diagnosed with schizophrenia in the late 1930s and spent the majority of her final years in and out of women's psychiatric asylums, including Highland Hospital. The fire claimed Zelda's life that night, and she would only later be identified by her charred red leather dancing shoe. When the fire started, she reportedly was chained to her bed, awaiting shock treatment. The Highland Hospital psychiatric wing was rebuilt shortly after the fire, and today functions as an office plaza. Staff at the building have reported strange and unexplainable activity. This photo was captured on the grounds of the hospital in 2010. It appears to be a woman running through the field near the women's dormitory. Disembodied voices are often heard on the grounds. Doors open and shut on their own. And full-bodied female apparitions are often seen walking the grounds of Highland Hospital. 9 women's lives were cut tragically short in the Highland Hospital fire, and it seems as though some have never left.